Ah, boy. Good morning, Norman.
Okay. Righto.
Yeah, so our first hot topic, we're talking about Dominica, and the PM, Roosevelt Skerritt, says the island was brutalized by Hurricane Maria. He earlier reported that he had to be rescued from his own residence in a WhatsApp message. And then I know he was on Facebook as well. He said the wind was savage, we lost the roof. My total upstairs, the ceiling collapsed, the roof is gone. Yeah. And this is Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan who says this. I know Skerritt was concerned about landslides, and he said he could imagine that the airports were inoperable, and he was reaching out to his regional neighbors in terms of anybody being able to assist him with air support, helicopter, so on, which would give him an opportunity
to see the damage,
to go around and see the damage.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think these pictures are Dominica, because those pictures wouldn't have come in yet. But
well, that's just some of the damage that we've been seeing in the region. So where are we now?
Well, Maria is moving towards the west-northwest near 9 miles per hour. On the forecast track, the eye will move over the northeastern Caribbean Sea yesterday. Today, Tuesday. Approach the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico Tuesday night and Wednesday.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Look out, folks, and be prepared.
St. Croix.
They say evacuate and you can get out.
St. Croix is on the hurricane warning. Guadeloupe, St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, USVI, BVI.
Puerto Rico has apparently declared a state of emergency ahead of landfall, which will likely happen on Wednesday. Remember, Puerto Rico got a battering from Irma. That's tomorrow. Yeah. So, woo, this one says the ferocity of Maria bears striking similarities to Hurricane Andrew, which was a Cat 5, which hit the Bahamas and Florida in 1992. So people are really looking at this one, even though everyone you hear sound like a monster. This one, when you see the satellite imagery, trust me, I would not want to be in the path of this storm.
Yeah, and they're saying the people in the Florida Keys who are just returning home, they're saying to them, you know what, don't go, stay. It's crazy. And then something was happening behind Maria, I think.
HRJKLMN behind Maria? Who around there?
Something. No, I never said no, man. I don't know, I'm not sure.
You sure I know the person who just been keep on the
No.
Oh, okay, that's not true. Okay. All right. Let's talk about what's happening. Is this here on the rock? Bananas could face extinction.
But I want to say, Simone, sorry, my love.
Yes, darling.
I want to say that with all that's happening with hurricanes and the ones that have come so close, yet not quite hit us, I don't want to put my goat mouth there, Lord, so I'm going to be careful how I say this. Are we here in Jamaica doing the necessary preps just in case? So like we know the areas that flood because of the gullies.
Did you see the rainfall, the little rainfall that we got from Irma?
Yes.
Well, you see what it will do to some areas?
Yes.
Okay, so I think you can answer your own question.
So I'm thinking by now, having seen so many, that we probably, I don't know, there might be a plan. I'm just asking, is there a plan to clear what needs to be cleared and put us in a state of readiness? We know shelters have to open, we know things have been provided. Are we stocking up on what we need to stock up on, or are we just going to wait until something liquid and then we say, we have to go to this, we have to go to this, you know, just asking.
Let's hope there's a plan.
Yeah.
We're going to say there must be a disaster plan.
There must be. I just think the nation should know what it is.
You mean somebody should come out and say, we're ready in the event house?
Yeah, with all that's happening.
That would be nice.
There might be national concern. Yeah. Just wanted to know in case it come here, there's going to be damage, but this is what we have in place.
Something tells me we'll still have a problem with the drains, though. Because that is a colossal
I'm not sure why.
issue. Because we won't stop dumping in them. And if we were to clean them as often as they're filled, I think that's probably all some people would be doing.
Yeah, but
so a lot of that is on us, even though there's a the onus is on.
I don't know why we're afraid to lock up people and afraid to put in laws. If you mess up a place, there's a fine and you get locked up. We're afraid. But anyway, this one may not understand this.
There's apparently a resurgence of a deadly fungus with bananas that could put them to the point of extinction. This article is saying we could soon face losing them altogether. The most exported banana in the world was a Gros Michel, but in the 1950s, a fungus known as Panama disease or banana wilt almost completely wiped them out. In its place, banana growers, they say, turned to another breed that was immune to the disease, the Cavendish, which now accounts for 99% of banana exports. But now the fruit is again under threat. This one now is one called a tropical race 4 TR4 fungus. It's come back and it's said to be even more deadly than the one which wiped out the Gros Michel.
Me not even didn't know so the Gros Michel didn't get wiped out.
Almost, it said. It didn't, but it almost wiped it out. So how are we going to fix this, Rada, and all the other folks who...
Single clump of contaminated dirt, a single clump, you know,
Jeez and Christ,
is enough to spread it like wildfire. And listen to this, it can be transported by wind, cars, water,
viral infection. That's crazy.
It invades the plant by infecting its roots, then moving up through the xylem, the tissue that transport water and nutrients, causing a blockage. The plant subsequently wilts and dies.
Well, the strain has spread to Southeast Asia, Australia, and Africa. And they're indicating that the disease could be a threat to bananas across the world. What can be done to save it? Well, they're doing some work in Africa and some other places to see what can happen. The FAO is trying to tackle TR4, and there are hopes that the disease can be contained to the areas where it's been found. If not, then our potassium.
So here comes Dahlia with doom and gloom again, because you remember chickpea? Which like we did say about a year before, say, you know, chickpea, do y'all know something of chickpea? Come go guy and I'm a book up something named chickpea. Is it coming this way? I mean, so look, you know, in the US, this is why you can't go in there with fruits and certain things, you know, Harold, because them not ramp when it comes to protect them things. So I don't know again what the regulations are here in Jamaica. But Sim, as a major agricultural nation, we need to now tell people, say, you can't come to Jamaica with any things where you just pick up.
I think we do have that. Don't we have, do we do, oh, you mean, oh.
Them coming in.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we have to make people know as much as we can bring it out. Things can't come in. Because I'm telling you, if it's wind can transport this thing and water,
problems.
Where are we from these nations that are having it?
Problems.
You know what I mean?
So we're going to watch that.
The global space is small, so we have to start rather than them, because banana is too important to us.
My girl, trust me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to La France. There's a pile of trash in the ocean. Dale and I were just talking about garbage a while ago in Jamaica. But there's a pile of trash in the ocean that has grown to the size of France, and some people would like for it to be recognized as a nation. I'm trying to really understand with him. The environmental charity Plastic Oceans Foundation has paired up with the news and entertainment publication Lad Bible to campaign for that pile of trash to be recognized as an official country. The campaign says that under Article 1 of the 1993 Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States, a country must be able to 1. Define a territory, 2. Form a government, 3. Interact with other states, and 4. Have a permanent population. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch has well-defined borders. It's easy to create a government and institutions for interacting with others on that garbage island. Okay. Now, with former U.S. Vice President Al Gore signing up as the country's first citizen and more than 100,000 signing the petition to be granted citizenship, the campaign has submitted its application earlier this month to the UN to recognize the trash isles as the world's 196th country.
You hear me tell you, so everything now, everybody got in them head because you want to say a pile of trash. Well, so the people them who go live there is who?
They're going to live on there?
Well, if you want to claim say it's your island, I think they should be allowed to call it an island, and I would send them there go live.
No, but they've designed a flag, a passport currency called Debris.
Them forgot they go live.
The currency name got Debris.
No, they must go there go live. I have no problem.
I'm done playing.
But they must go there go live. If it's your country, you must go there go live. That is my belief. And you must stay there.
All right, we're being told to go to birthdays, but first we have to say good morning to Mr. Lester Spalding, chairman of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group, who has announced his intention to resign as chairman of the media group. Mr. Spalding made that announcement yesterday at the company's AGM. Mr. Spalding has been chairman since 1994, and he says he will resign within the next 2 months. Thank you, Chairman.
For a long time.
Thank you for your service. You're an amazing businessman, and we certainly will miss you. But we know you're going to be close. You're not going too far. You know, Nefrel yesterday, they tried to vote him off the island. Did you watch? Never mind. It's a long story.
So that's the message somebody sent me. So I must ask them all. I'll never vote Mr. Spalding off the island, and then by the evening Mr. Spalding leave the island and something is wrong. So I was like,
I don't know if he knew something I didn't know at the time, but I just found it so ironic. One day I'm going to do the other one. Yeah, I joke with him.
I just hope his last duty as chairman is not to vote never off the island. Happy birthday to Ingrid Lowe Campbell, Orlando Hewitt, Kevin Thomas, Diana McIntyre Pike. How are you, my darling? Dennis Wright, Ann Jackson, Beverly Harriet, Renee Richards, and Andre Bing. You know, look here, Harold, help me please, because you know I'm not very good at this thing. And I download it and it don't look like it download properly. So these people are gonna cuss me now. I want to say happy birthday to Dilly K.
To who? Dilly?
Dilly K.
Dilly K.
Dilly K, who is celebrating her 6th birthday. My phone is so dark. 6th birthday today. That's Dilly K. I'm gonna move my hand again, arrow, because it is also Suchana Miller's birthday, and Suchana is 10.
Okay.
Cool.
His when was the 16th?
3 days ago.
Okay, well, this is belated. Happy 40th belated. This lady, her name is Bobine Smart Brown. Oops, sorry. Bobine celebrated on Saturday, you said earlier? I don't know what day today is. Bobine, your husband, Barrington Brown from King Alarm, is wishing you a happy belated birthday, of course. He loves you loads, and we hope you had a great day celebrating on Saturday. If you have a birthday today, the 19th of September, it is a Tuesday. Have a fantastic day. And here are some folks who are